Hey everyone, this is Cody, and today on AstroBlender I'm going to have another ZWO ASI Air tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to polar align your mount using the ASI Air Pro. So I'm just going to show you my procedure for doing this, which is actually pretty simple, but even better, it's very accurate, so you'll be able to start imaging in no time. Make sure A, your mount is pointed towards Polaris. In general, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just pointing towards Polaris. And the second is you want to make sure it is set to the index marks, so you want to make sure both axes are centered. Now that being said, this is a Celestron CGX. It does not have index marks. It uses a switch instead, so I'm just going to set the switch position and let it center up. Okay, so now that that's complete, I'm ready to start polar aligning. So I'm going to grab my iPad, I'm going to boot up my ASI Air Pro and just wait for it to get dark. So the initial setup's pretty easy. Now I found it's much better to polar align first before you star align. If you get a really good tight polar alignment, your star alignments are going to be money. Your go-tos are going to be really precise, and it's going to be really easy to align your telescope. So I would always polar align your mount first before you star align. Alright, so my very first step is to make sure the camera is cooling. So I'm going to tap on the camera tab. Okay, it's cooling at -10 degrees C, and it's a pretty warm night, so I'm fine with that. -10 C is perfect. Now I'm going to exit out of that. Now, to polar align, you're going to need to be able to plate solve. And you can't plate solve if you're not focused. So focus really is the most important thing in this whole process. So I'm just going to go to the preview tab and tap the focus button. And I'm just going to start looping half-second exposures. Now notice I'm bidding 3 just so I can see the stars a little bit better, so I'm just going to start adjusting my focus knob. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to change this to bin 1 and see if I can see those stars. Okay, so there's one off to the left. I'm just going to tighten that focus more. Okay, and then to really get focused, I'm going to move this green box with my finger. And let's go to this bottom star and tap the zoom button on the left. So this star isn't really reading anything on the HFD scale, and it's probably because I'm using an Optolong L Extreme filter, so I'm just going to increase the exposure a little bit to 1 second. Okay, so that's showing a bit better now, so now I'm just going to finish focusing. Okay, so for the purposes of a polar alignment, that is good enough. So I'm going to go back now. Okay, great. So now we are ready to begin the polar alignment now that we're somewhat focused. Okay, so I'm going to stop my live exposures here. And now I'm going to tap the focus button and go to the PA. Okay, so here is the polar alignment menu. I'm just going to tap Start here. And I'm going to skip. Now I found that the Celestron mounts are a little bit finicky with the ASI Air Pro. So when you're prompted to connect your mount when you begin polar aligning, I skip that step. I do not connect my mount when I polar align. Now it's going to take an exposure and plate solve. So it took 3 seconds to plate solve, that's all. So now it's going to say rotate your RA axis in around 60 degrees for calculating. Now I need to move my RA axis 60 degrees manually. Now the Celestron CGX moves 4 degrees per second at its top speed, so 60 divided by 4 is 15, so I'm going to move my RA axis for 15 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 60 degrees-ish. Alright, so now that I've moved the mount manually 60 degrees in right ascension, I can just tap rotated. And then it's going to shoot another image in plate solve. And then you're just going to tap let's go. Finish this thing off. Alright, so basically how this works is you're going to get a reticle, and you're going to try and move that reticle as close to the center as you can using the manual knobs on your mount for altitude and for azimuth. And as you get closer to the center, your field of view is going to narrow, and then you're going to make even more slight adjustments until you get it perfect, and that's all there is to it. Now the ASI Air does not manually refresh the image unless you tap auto, so you're definitely going to want to do that before you begin. Alright, so now that I've tapped auto, it's going to shoot on its own. I will say this though, there is a little bit of a lag, so you will want to make an adjustment, wait 1 to 2 seconds and see what it does, and then go from there. I think that's people's biggest frustration is it's not a live view, so that part definitely takes some getting used to, but it's still pretty easy. So I'm completely isolated from my wood observing platform here. I am not standing on it. That way I don't cause any vibrations that can mess this up. So I'm going to start working on my azimuth first. I'm 1 degree off, 19 arc minutes and 27 arc seconds. So I'm going to start adjusting that first. Okay, make an adjustment, wait for it to catch up. And just like that, you saw it zoomed in, so my adjustment was good. I'm going to keep going that way. Alright, getting better. Still getting better. Okay, so I overshot it just a little bit. Just make a slight adjustment. And now I'm going to adjust my altitude. Okay, so wrong direction. A little bit too much. See, it does take a little bit of time to catch up. Okay, getting closer. Now notice it zooms in again. And now I'm just going to tighten up my azimuth just a little bit more, and now I'm going to make very slight adjustments. But yeah, once you get down to this really small circle, the adjustments just need to be ever so slight. Notice the face turn to a happy face. And it's just a matter of patience getting it tightened up. Okay, so I'm going to call that good right there. Alright, so I am going to take a 2-minute unguided exposure of the Eastern Veil Nebula now and see how the polar alignment is. So here we go. Alright, just a few more seconds till it's done, and let's see how we did. It's loading up now. Ah, there it is. You got a satellite coming through here. Stars are a little bit egg-shaped, just a tiny bit, so the polar alignment definitely could get a little bit better, but this is 2 minutes unguided, so auto-guiding would really clean that up nicely. And yeah, you can see the ASI Air Pro does a good job helping with your polar alignment, and the more you practice with it, the better you can get it. Alright, well that wraps up another tutorial video on the ZWO ASI Air. As you can see, again, it's pretty easy. Just about everything with the ASI Air is easy, so I hope that you were able to glean some information from this video and found it helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and clear skies.